And this is not actually any sort of revolution that has happened in the way that dogs themselves think, but really a scientific revolution in our understanding of how it is that dogs reason about the world. And then second, I'm going to talk about how we can begin to build on a lot of this basic research on dog psychology that's gone on in the last 20 years, and hopefully apply some of this information to very real and practical problems that are applicable to working dog populations. And then third, I'll talk about some of our preliminary attempts to do this and studies that we have ongoing working with assistance dogs and military working dogs. So the goal is, I mentioned that we're starting with a very exploratory approach. We don't know which, if any, of these traits are going to be predictive, so we're measuring a lot of things. But the hope is that once we get some traction, and if we can identify a couple of characteristics that are predictive in these cases, that this will be a valuable tool for the agencies that are training these dogs, and we can say, look, we found that these three measures seem to be relatively predictive, and maybe these groups can incorporate these measures in with existing screening criteria that they use in the process of looking for candidate dogs.
Some of the major goals of our research program have been to, one, identify factors contributing to successful dogs, then also developing measures of earlier predictors of success. Then we also are trying to identify critical windows in terms of behavioral development and how this might be related to detection work. And finally, trying to develop modification strategies, and so that we can improve the odds of any dog actually being successful in the end. So obviously this was just, again, enrichment opportunities. This is something that they did with the puppies to, it's good to mentally enrich them. But no one, up to before I got there, really cared about what each individual is doing. And also it's very difficult, even with these two yellow labs, that you can, it's very easy to lose track of who's doing what. And so we had to come up with a solution to both be able to record their behavior and then also be able to tell who's doing what. And so you can see what we ended up doing was setting up a camera and then also putting different colored collars on each of the puppies. And I don't think you can really see in this video, but from that far away. But one of these puppies has a red collar. One of them has a blue collar. And if you were watching carefully, you can see that there was two balls that were released. The dog with the red collar is the one that released both of those toys.
K2 Canine. So some of you may have heard of us. It's the biggest at the moment commercial dog training company in the country. Over the last 4 years, it's grown phenomenally. The company was listed as one of the top 500 growing in America. Went from 2 people in the top of a garage, 8 years ago to now over 300 employees. Our main focus is not just canine though. However, that is now the biggest focus. The reason the canine portion started at the company was that the owner, Lane Kelson, is a keen retriever trainer, and he made his hobby into something more professional. So the environmental chamber is what I spoke about. This is unique. This is 600 square foot. Inside this chamber, we can run the temperature down to a negative 20 Fahrenheit and a plus 120 Fahrenheit. That allows us to conduct experiments, and here you'll see Dr. Davis of Oklahoma State, into heat tolerance within canines, rehydration of canines, physical conditioning.
I'm going to be talking about some research from the breeding and development side. And I kind of feel like the point of my talk is to get handlers or trainers to be thinking about research. And sitting in this room today and yesterday, I realized I may be preaching to the converted. Okay, so was our research useful? Like I said, it's not a short-term investment. Payoffs take time. I don't want to underestimate the idea that collaboration between scientists and working dog professionals requires a high degree of collaboration. Scott, it's a lot of work. It shouldn't be taken lightly, and if you're in the working dog program, you're probably going to feel like you've got these kids bugging you all the time, trying to get you to do things for them. And vice versa, if you're a researcher, you're probably like feeling like the kid going, why won't these people give me the things that I need?
Really what I'm doing here today is not to give you a whole bunch of information, but instead to get you ready for the next few days. We need to figure out how we improve the process of being a canine and handler team. And so when I went about this, I wanted to go from the angle of knowing what you see and seeing what you know. It's so often that we get ourselves into positions where we want to think we can make this come out of the dog by will alone. And what we have to do is get better at the techniques that make that happen.
On September 11th, this vision became a reality as far as the structure's concerned. We opened our Penn Vet Working Dog Center on September 11th, 2012. So all the work that she had put in for it for 11 years, and that's a lot of work, and the work that she had been doing prior to actually had a face. And we had a building, we had a door, we had a sign. It was great. We use positive reinforcement. We want these puppies to have a really, really good time. Regardless of if they're doing obedience, agility, search, we want it to be fun. It's my belief that a dog is having a good time, they're going to work harder, they're going to want to do it for you, they're going to want to go out there and have some fun and play and work at the same time. Sometimes I don't think they really know the difference. So we'll split the dogs up. We'll do some cardio. Our curriculum, our board has everything on it from fitness and husbandry to search and direction and control. So we try and get as much done for these pups in the span of a day, but we'll split them up. You know, someone may be working this exercise, so they don't have to spend too much time in their crates. They don't want to be in those crates. They want to be out there working.